Ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a problem, and we have a big problem. Our nation's productivity is declining, and actually our economic future is at stake. We're talking about the future here, and if there's one thing I know, it's how fragile that is. And I say, dire challenges require bold solutions. Put more women at the helm, and we can deliver the boost that Australia now needs. This is how bad the situation is becoming. There's actually a cottage industry of boy support consultants. And they're poking up around the world because people can't seem to work out. Why is it that girls are topping the OP scores? Why are they performing so much better than boys in our education system? In the US, it's actually so bad, some colleges are giving special help to male applicants. That's right, ladies. Affirmative action for white males to avoid skewed sex ratios. Closer to home here in Queensland, our girls top the OP scores consistently by a mile. So why is it that these young women are not making it to the forefront of our business leadership? They're not shaping the strategies that our kids will inherit and will be so important for the future. Environmental protection, community development, jobs, investment. Why are 98% of board directors in Australia white? Why do over half of the ASX 200 boards in Australia not have a single woman director? Not any. This is Australia's great gender irony. Our so-called merit system simply does not draw in leadership talent. So, we have a woman prime minister, a fabulous governor general who actually yesterday morning called for quotas, interestingly. Premiers around the country are popping up that are women. We're all sitting around these sumptuous corporate board tables, debating why there aren't women there. Why is this a problem? Well, I hear what the opposition is saying. I take Sharni's point on board. It's not just the helm of boardrooms that matters. But here's what the problem is. Our corporate boardrooms are where the rubber hits the road. It's where we forge deep economic, social, and environmental impact. And in this vital area, where it counts so much, women are missing in action. Let's bring the issue closer to home. Despite the raw intellectual power that our daughters are bringing to our education system here in Queensland, just 9% of directors on our top 10 companies, listed companies, are women. 4 of them have no women directors. So why is this happening? Individual women are making it to the top, there's no doubt about that. But in corporate Australia, business as usual is a place where female talent is routinely quashed at the golf course. It's a place where men make the rules and so they know how to break them. Individually, we don't need quotas. I get that talented women make it to the top. The women debating here today represent the fighter and the conqueror in all of us. Yet, as a society, we need quotas urgently to ensure that Australia goes to bat with the very best talent on board. Quotas aren't just a girl's best friend. They're the single biggest weapon that we have to tackle national pressing challenges that lie ahead. Now, it's not just about our daughters, it's about our nation. Eminent economist Ross Garnaut puts it like this. He has a chilling message. This is as good as it gets. From here, the lucky country will struggle to grind out any improvement in living standards. Garnaut says, as our productivity declines, it's inevitable. Australia will be going through a period when there's very little economic capacity to lift per capita increases in living standards. Let's face it, we are a globally exposed trading nation. Our competitive advantage lies on natural resource wealth that will not last forever. We have terrific industries that are powered by very, very cost-effective energy, and we know that's going to change. We are running out of tricks to sustain innovation and environmentally responsible growth. Gary Banks, the chairman of the Productivity Commission, is struggling to find what is that lift in productivity that we can deliver. And I say, introduce quotas. Unleash the female part of the gene pool that can deliver the leadership, and we know it because it's here in this room. Now, the hostility towards quotas in Australia, it's been long held by men and women. We understand that. There's a pervasive view out there that quotas constitute favorable treatment, as Sharni says, that for women this will undermine the merit principle. It'll promote women who aren't up to the job or undercut women in the workplace by creating this impression that they just got there because of the quota. This line of thinking sounds so plausible, but after generations of highly educated women, 98% of our frontline are white men, and it is not merit-based. Now, my argument is it's broke, let's fix it, but let me tell you what my seeking suspicion actually is. What's going on here is, if you look around the room, you will see how absolutely gorgeous we women are. And, you know, the challenge with that is that sometimes men who happen to be in power, they look at us as opposed to considering us. And you'd be forgiven for thinking that there's a linear relationship between our physical appearance and our ability to contribute, because that seems to be a part of our culture. So right here, right now, we are going to bust this myth. And how are we going to do that? Ladies, if you could stand up. We have decided that there might be a relationship between, for example, the size of your bust and the size of your brain. So we decided to measure it. And you might wonder at this stage why your goodie bag has one of these tape measures. We encourage you to do this at home. Men might choose to measure something different to women, and that's okay too. Once we measure, and we'll do it around really quickly, and then maybe around the brain as well to see how big that, very good. And look, lo and behold, we can see the results. If we can flash those up, please. It's absolutely clear the myth is busted. There is no relationship between the size of your head and the size of your chest. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is a very small sample size. It couldn't possibly be represented. So, I, lived in Sydney for 15 years. I have a wonderful book club. It's actually much more exciting than the golf course. And I chatted with some wonderful women who are on that book club, and also more recent friends here in Brisbane. And here are some of those amazing women. So they've agreed to measure this myth-busting exercise. And as you can see, they've achieved quite a bit, but we're really struggling to find the relationship between their bust size and brain size. The results are conclusive. Despite signals to the contrary from the boys' club, there is absolutely no relationship between how you appear and how you perform. So what I really want to say here is, when you're greeted, as we sometimes are, with a slight glance downwards, if you know what I mean, just remember, unless we release the power of our national gene pool to its effective rate, we are not going to get their quotas are a girl's best friend.